Millions of people spend their lives in a state of constant exhaustion, following every societal rule, yet remaining permanently trapped beneath a financial ceiling. It is a common instinct to blame these stagnant results on a volatile economy or a personal lack of effort. But the source of the problem is often a psychological operating system, absorbed between childhood and adulthood. We adopt a set of beliefs that feel like common sense or wisdom passed down from teachers. These embedded ideas function as invisible walls. They predetermine a person's financial trajectory, preventing wealth from accumulating regardless of how many hours they work. Breaking this cycle requires more than physical labor. It requires a clinical audit of the unconscious biases that are quietly sabotaging your daily decisions. The first divergence is how the mind perceives time. Stagnation is born in the present, focusing on paying bills this month or surviving the week. Wealth is built in decades, where every decision is measured by what it will produce 10 or 20 years from now. This shift in perspective is the mandatory requirement for compound interest to function. This chart shows the mathematical reality of starting early. A person who invests starting at age 25 will retire with significantly more wealth than a late starter who begins at 35, even if that late starter invests twice as much per month. The second divergence involves the perception of risk. Many people believe that keeping money in a standard savings account is the most responsible way to play it safe. However, when a savings account offers 4% interest, while inflation runs at 6%, that safety is an illusion. The red gap on this chart represents a guaranteed slow loss of your purchasing power. In this context, spending an entire life working for money is a greater hazard than losing capital on a specific calculated investment. Choosing emotional comfort over a diversified investment strategy results in a mathematical certainty of stagnation. The third blind spot is the education plateau. For many, learning is a task that ends with a diploma. Wealthy mindsets, however, treat financial education as a lifelong obsession, seeking mentors and studying the mechanics of capital. They reframe financial mistakes as tuition, a necessary cost for an education they will never have to repeat. Perhaps the deepest defense mechanism is the resentment of other success. It is psychologically comfortable to assume the wealthy cheated or got lucky, because that belief removes personal responsibility for your own outcomes. But this resentment is financially catastrophic. By dismissing a successful person as an outlier or a cheat, you close your mind to the actual systems they use to build their wealth. Stagnation is also a product of systemic vulnerability. Most people are taught to rely on a single income source, a good job with steady salary. This model is extremely fragile. A single event, a job loss, or a health crisis can destroy the financial stability of a household overnight. Security requires redundancy. This means building multiple, varied income streams simultaneously, ensuring that if one pipe closes, the central reservoir remains full. Finally, we must look at how capital is allocated. Many people spend their lives buying liabilities while believing they are building wealth. They use credit for cars and smartphones, items that depreciate the moment they are owned, and call them assets. The mechanical rule of wealth is simple. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes it out. Stagnation is the result of spending a career acquiring the latter. The market is an indifferent mechanism. It does not respond to your background, your education, or how hard you feel you are working. It only responds to your decisions. And those decisions are determined by the beliefs you hold about money when no one is watching. Because every belief you hold about money was once an external idea you absorbed, these mindsets are not permanent. Just as a habit is formed through repetition, a financial belief can be scrutinized, discarded, and replaced with a logic that actually builds wealth. This requires you to audit your own psychological framework with brutal honesty, identifying the specific ideas that are quietly destroying your future. You cannot change the physical balance of your bank account until you rewrite the invisible architecture of your mind.